So are you thinking of buying a new home at the moment despite a rocky 2020? Well, financial expert Graeme Holm joins me live to share his top 5 golden rules for homeowners to live by. I'm listening. Mate, good to have you on Ticker. How are you today?
Morning, Adrian. How are you?
Pretty good. Hey, firstly, tell us about 2020 as we get towards the end of it. I do like to sort of recap, for someone in your position, I guess, in the housing market. It's been an interesting time. Could you maybe just recap the year from your perspective?
Yeah, look, Adrian, it certainly has. Banks, obviously, during the COVID-19 pandemic, have been quite tight and strict on lending
Yep.
perimeters. So it's been quite difficult. And for first home buyers or any family, really, getting a loan approval has been like a bar of gold, so to speak. So it has been a tough year for a lot of families looking to refinance or purchase a home. But thankfully, the government's come into bat throughout this COVID pandemic. And we've now got some really strong incentives and stamp duty concessions, as well as first home buyer incentives to really stimulate the housing economy.
So let's talk about some tips for people listening out there and for finding the best first home and their mortgage as well. What should we know?
Look, firstly, you should seek independent professional advice. It's
Sure.
very important that you're getting advice from licensed professionals. But I'd say the 5 golden rules are budget, 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 and definitely budget, Adrian.
Okay, very good.
So it's probably the simplest rule when it comes to finance. And people think budget's a dirty word, but really it's us telling our money where it should go. And not enough of us use these simple old budgeting and, planning strategies and structures. And we really need to go back to that.
So where are people buying at the moment? Are there particular areas in particular spaces around Australia? And also why? Why now?
Yeah, we've seen record housing loan applications in Western Australia. It's broken some pretty strong records there. Southeast Queensland's probably coming in sort of number two, we're seeing, but definitely the eastern seaboard. I mean, Western Australia's grown rapidly and broken records, but New South Wales, around Sydney Metro, Victoria, southeast Queensland predominantly are all just going absolute gangbusters at the moment. And it's really those 30 to 45-minute clusters outside the CBDs where people are still a commutable distance to a CBD. And we've seen some strong growth in the regional centres as well. So it's interesting that the country as a whole is setting some really good paces and some records in relation to housing numbers.
And so when first homeowners get their new property, what are your golden rules for homeowners to actually live by when they've moved in?
We'll definitely budget. But look, it's really important, Adrian. And look, people laugh at that, but it's the simplest thing. But
Totally.
it's really important for first home buyers and families out there. Don't look for the cheapest loan. I call that rate bait. We quite often go, oh, that's a really cheap fixed rate loan. You wouldn't buy a manual car if you can only drive automatic. So it's really important that families look for the best loan with the right features. There's no point having what appears to be a low rate fixed cheap home loan if you can't pay extra repayments. So it's really important they shop around and really, really important that they understand the features of the loan product. And when they're buying, they really need to do their research and their due diligence.
And just finally, let's look ahead to 2021. What housing mortgage trends do you think we will see in 2021 and also beyond?
Yeah, Adrian, we'll definitely see some record-breaking numbers for first home buyers with the build boost being extended. Although it's dropped from 25,000, it's down to 15,000 until the end of March. So we'll see some record numbers in the first home buyer market. But I think you'll see with rates as low as they are and intending to stay low for quite some time yet, I think you're going to see the investor market start to grow rapidly as well.
Really interesting stuff. Thank you so much for your time, mate. I enjoyed the chat and learnt plenty, which is always a great sign, I reckon. If people want to find out more with what you're doing, where can they head?
Head to www.infinity.com.au.
Great stuff. Thank you so much, Graeme, for your time. Enjoy your summer. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Adrian.
Awesome stuff.